president, I think.
Because they keep
Patrick
the headphones. The wrong headphones are plugged in, and they keep unplugging our
Patrick
cord
is
for
just
live
Patrick is grizzled with the afternoon guys.
Stop doing it.
Jen's thrilled to be working with me this morning. We will get to the Love Chevy phone lines as well and get some happy takes. Again, if you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100, how you can do so this morning, the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. And again, you can always go to the Buford Lending live stream. Go to youtube.com and then click on or search for 107.5 The Game. You can also check us out on our Facebook page there on the 107.5 The Game Facebook page. Weekend of football outside of South Carolina Auburn. I understand you now will be going to the South Carolina Auburn game.
Be there.
Maybe you're the good luck.
3 games in a row.
How many?
3 games in a row.
Sure, you did go to Missouri. I was gonna crown you the good luck charm for being at the Florida game, but so you're besides the South Carolina Auburn game, and we'll get into the schedule.
I graduated in 2018, and between 2018 and this season, I've been to 1 game.
Okay, and this will be your 3rd in a row.
Now I'm going to 3 in a row.
Look at you. Yeah. He's becoming more and more of a South Carolinian.
But now I feel like I don't know what's going on in college football.
Oh, there is that.
Because I don't get to watch every game.
I was going to ask if there's another game in particular that you're interested in.
It's actually not the worst thing in the world because my parents just moved last week and they shut off their cable or canceled their cable account, which I didn't think about. And I used their cable information for ESPN and Fox Sports and all those apps. So I tried to watch. It was the UNC game last week on Friday night. I tried to watch and it said that it didn't work. My cable doesn't exist anymore. So now I have to potentially get cable.
So it's rough. Now you can understand why Patrick's up. We'll get him in a good mood this morning. We'll get you in a good mood as well. We'll get into the schedule that will be this coming weekend for college football. Last night, Louisville blows out Duke 62-22. Not even close.
One of the best games ever in college football from Blake Cunningham. You see a stat line?
I have not. I know he had 303 passing yards and 224 rushing yards.
And 7 touchdowns.
It's pretty solid.
527 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Good night of work right there.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That was a jaw-dropping stat line to read. I did a 72-yard touchdown that was unreal. When probably ran like 120 yards because he went down the left sideline, ran across the field, juked out the whole team, and then scored it. He's pretty electric.
Did not watch much of that again. I was at the South Carolina basketball game last night, a 66-63 winner over Alabama Birmingham. The Gamecocks moved to 3-1 on the season. They will host Wofford next Tuesday at Colonial Life Arena before the Thanksgiving break, and then they'll be back the following Sunday, I believe is the correct schedule there, for a game at home against Rider. I am being at Colonial. Last night was the first time I've been back to Colonial Life Arena in a while. It had to be more. I honestly think the last time I was in Colonial Life Arena was the Post Malone concert right before
I really
COVID
think that the last time I was in Colonial Life Arena was my graduation ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, but pretty good time last night. Again, 66-63. South Carolina gets the victory, and once again, that's not one that we'll talk a lot about later in the season, and that's a good thing because we won't be talking about a loss. South Carolina finds a way to win, whether it's a point or 15 points. It really doesn't matter. South Carolina wins last night.
Well, and just as important, they shot the ball really well. 8 of 17 from 3 you'll take every single day. If they can do that, maybe this is just a game that they got their confidence back in a friendly gym, friendly environment, and this will spur them to being an effective 3-point shooting team once again. I mean, Eric Stevenson particularly got the kinks out. Now he's going to be a good shooter. 3 of 5 for him, 4 of 5 for James Reese. Those two guys can shoot the lights out. So if they can continue to do that, you're going to have a good chance to win a lot of games. You held a really good scoring team. So I assume that's their season low to date. If they're averaging 93 points a game, that you said.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can hold them to that, I mean, I assume you're going to have a chance to win a lot of games if you shoot that way.
One thing from last night, an anonymous texter weighs in. I agree. He says cut the turnovers in half, and that would have been a blowout. And South Carolina had 22 turnovers last night. And Patrick,
but that's to be expected when you have. That's the one thing when you have a group of guys that have never played together, and you just pile them all together and start playing. The turnovers are at least understandable. There's nothing about 9 new players that means you can't shoot the ball well, but the turnovers you're at least understanding.
No,
Why?
I'll tell you why. Some of the turnovers were so bad in terms of just lazy passes, like high school. It's one thing if you and I haven't played together and you're cutting back door and I'm throwing the pass out to the top of the key and we're just not on the same page. A lot of the turnovers last night are just like, I'm going to lob it over here. And they were bad turnovers. They were bad. Jermaine Cousinar was 6 last night. Devin Carter, I do love the way Devin Carter plays. He's going to be good. Reckless abandon to the rim.
And he can fly.
I am hesitant to say you got to get him a little under control because I think that's part of his game.
What was happening with Chico Carter Jr.? I only played 1 minute.
Yeah, didn't play much last night. Got in there towards the end. Taquan Woodley, the other post player, 4 turnovers last night, and then James Reese with 3. Those were the major turnover kings last night. If they can cut down on turnovers and make better passes, just crisp passes, and continue to shoot the ball fairly well, this team's got a chance. Wildens Levesque last night also 7 of 8 from the foul line. You got to be pretty happy with that when your big guys doing that. Levesque is developing nicely in the post. Last night, 13 points, 7 rebounds.
I mean, 18 of your 20 free throw attempts came from Devin Carter and Wildens Levesque.
Yeah. So
Devin Carter is going to get to the line a lot the way he plays.
Good win for the Gamecocks last night. If you want to weigh in on that this morning, 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. Larry, not Gamecock Larry, we'll get to him in just a second. Larry on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line weighs in on the Auburn-South Carolina football game and says the 2 games Jason Brown has started, we averaged 34 points, almost 20 more than before he took over. If we win, the defense must sell out the line with 5 and 6 on the line. I really think we are a better team at home. Gamecocks 37, Auburn 27. That reminds me, got to get the poll question up. What will happen? Get in there. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines to the one and only Gamecock Larry for the prediction of the week. Good morning, young man. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling like a young man should. I tell you what, old Rudolph called me this morning, I guess about 4:30, 4:45, but I surprised him. I answered the phone for the first ring, ended, and he crying, Oceanside, pushed Gilbert out to sea last weekend in the high school football. That's all right. I got a feeling the Gamecocks go send Auburn reeling 34-24. But I tell you what, Clemson is going down. So who did that leave? That no Florida. I think they just hung it up. I ain't gonna say nothing about our offensive coordinator. This is his first year, but he sure got to improve in his play calling. You don't call that pass down there in the end zone, that little whatever you call it. And the boy that recovered, the young man that recovered that, he's from Irmo. Irmo scored the winning touchdown against the Gamecocks. I know Shane Beamer, he's my buddy, he's smiling, he's okay. We're going to be all right. We're going to go 7-5, like I told you guys 10 games ago, a long time ago in the off season. I told you we was going to go 12-0, and then it kept on going down out. The final thing was 7-5. We're going 7-5. We're going to beat Auburn 34-24. Clemson's going to come to town, and Dabo going to go home with his tail. Oh, I don't know how you say that either. But I feel good. I do. I really do. They got me set up, everything. And I'm going to try to get out a little bit this afternoon, right around. But the Gamecocks going to win 7-5 when the season's over. You can mark it down in your book. And if the Gamecocks later around next year, before the season starts, I'm going to say 15-0 Gamecocks in the Final Four in 2024. Go Gamecocks.
Boy, that is a cheerful, energy-filled young man.
I know that feeling of beginning a metaphor and forgetting how it ends.
Yeah.
Tail between his legs is what we were looking for.
That's what we're looking for. So we got a prediction. We got a revised prediction for 2021.
Yep.
We have a prediction for tomorrow's game, 34-24, and we already have a 2022 prediction.
Before we go to break, how do we want to do this poll? Do we just want three questions? Gamecocks pull the upset. Auburn wins by 1-6, and Auburn covers.
Sounds good to me.
3 choices.
Sounds good to me. That's the best way to do it. 7:30 this morning. JC Sherbert will join us. We'll talk about the offense for South Carolina. Some of you weighing in on the live stream about the offensive coordinator and what may or may not happen. 8 quarters remaining for Marcus Satterfield unless there's a bowl game. We'll learn a lot against 2 pair of Tigers here this week and next week and what Marcus Satterfield can come up with in the final weeks. We will talk with J.C. Sherbert about that. 8:05 this morning. It is round 3 of the high school playoffs. We will talk with Chris Deering as we do each and every week to get his breakdown on this week's high school playoff scene. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Live, local, and free. That's how we do sports. 107.5 The Game. Feel free to call.
Yeah, Anthony, I think you're right. Gamecock Larry is turning into an MC right before our eyes. Jim, good morning. Welcome in. Hopefully you got to see I would imagine the eclipse over the ocean was very pretty. All right, let me finish this tweet. Let's see. Hard at work. Hard at work. One down, 2 to go.
All right. Hi, everybody. Yeah. I got to start checking it every day. They never unplugged our stuff before. I'm plugging it all the time.
You got to put a sign down there. Don't touch our stuff.
Stop unplugging our plug. Plug it back in when you're done.
Travis, I don't know. I don't. I don't know.
So, Michigan State, Ohio State. My pen is not working.
Oh yeah, you got to get our games.
What are you looking for?
I was going to tell Jen something that she stepped out. Okay. When we get, I always like getting the first. I feel like if I get the first segment to like 23 or 24 minutes, it basically ends the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna forget what I was doing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That works.
Please don't fly anywhere.
Yeah, don't fly. I can jump in there whenever.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, we need to slip out earlier. So.
Yeah, I can jump in there whenever.
Here you go. Let me do you this. I don't know if you got JC.
Okay. Man, nothing else really jumps out. Arkansas, Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, Friday is upon us. You can join us on the Buford Lending live stream. RL, Travis, Craig, Anthony, Robin, all already in DC. Everybody jumping in. Jim, our resident Tiger fan, who is pulling double duty this weekend. Jim Corley up in Carolina Beach saying good morning, Clemson Tigers and Gamecocks too. And then he follows it up with a go Tigers. Auburn and Clemson beat number 10 Wake Forest. We're an open show. If you're a Clemson fan, we welcome you in with open arms. We will transform you at some point to the good side. Don't worry. We'll continue to work on it. It all starts by going and visiting Heath Klein. Actually, that's all part of our program. We send you to visit Heath Klein to get wise advice. Today, you can go do it at Savage Craft Ale Works, West Columbia, 430 Center Street. Heath will be there doing his show 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. tonight. There will be free appetizers from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. I don't know why you wouldn't go now. You've got the chance for free appetizers and to hang out with Heath Klein. That's how you start a weekend. You can also register to win a $250 gift card to Gamecock Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. Again, Heath Klein this afternoon, 4 to 7 o'clock at Savage Craft Ale Works in West Columbia, 430 Center Street. Go hang out with Heath and enjoy some free appetizers from 4 to 5 p.m. Talk a little football there. Last night, South Carolina wins 66-63 basketball over University of Alabama, Birmingham, and Andy Kennedy. Tomorrow night, South Carolina hosts Auburn, 7 o'clock here at Williams-Brice Stadium. Let's get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Daniel is up next with some thoughts on the Auburn game. Daniel, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Bill, I'm good. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I'm just curious what the feeling is in Gamecock Nation going into this game, because I can tell you, as an Auburn fan, we feel very differently about the season right now than we did after the Ole Miss game. And A&M was disappointing, but last week was extremely disappointing, having 40 straight unanswered points scored on us. So we're not all that up on our Tigers at the moment, but I'm curious what Gamecock country feels like.
Appreciate the phone call, Patrick. I mean, we talked with Brian Matthews this week with Auburn, with AuburnSports.com on the Rivals Network. You and I have talked about it. I think what Daniel says, the Auburn fans are kind of down on their team. The Texas A&M game, and then as he mentioned, the loss last week to Mississippi State, in which they give up. They give up the 28-3 lead. South Carolina fans are dejected. I think that they're not particularly happy, but I also feel like South Carolina fans have maybe a little bit more hope or energy or excitement than Auburn does right now.
Why?
First year, well,
I
think
term, they both have first year coaches.
Well,
I think let's say Auburn, the fans are disappointed, but it's grading on a curve because Auburn has different expectations than South Carolina does.
Well, and that's where I was going.
Auburn's won a national championship,
but I think Auburn expected, number one, Auburn was 6-2 and was talking about being in contention for the West.
Yeah.
That would have been a surprise for year number one. South Carolina, I think that now looking back through 10 games and you see the schedule and you see what those teams have turned out to be, it's been kind of a roller coaster ride because what was it, the end of September, I believe, as South Carolina's going to play Kentucky, we're all looking at the Texas A&M game going, oh, Texas A&M's not very good. And then by the time South Carolina arrives in College Station,
they were very good.
A&M had turned it around. But I think, a lot of people say, well, Vegas set the over-under at 3.5 for South Carolina on season wins. They're at 5. They've exceeded expectation. I don't know if that's necessarily what you base it on now, knowing what we know about, say, Florida or what you want to say. I don't really care about margin of victory over East Carolina and Troy. You win those games, and Vanderbilt, throw them in. But I also think that South Carolina has exceeded expectations to some degree. I'm not sure Auburn fans would say the same about their team.
Yeah, I mean, I think South Carolina exceeded maybe the national expectations. But I think every year we see the win totals and South Carolina fans feel disrespected by it. So 3.5. I mean, if South Carolina's a 4-win team, there would be no one saying, "Well, we covered the win total." I mean, you would feel terrible about it.
You were 4-6 right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Without the Florida win, I mean, yeah, you're not feeling good at all. And I mean, as good as you feel, I guess, about the record, you just feel not good at all about the offense. And there's just still a lot of holes, and you don't know where you're at the quarterback position in the long term. I guess Auburn really doesn't either. I mean, Bo Nix will return. I guess he's got 2 more years of eligibility, so that's still who they're going to build around. But yeah, I mean, it's just a different level of not feeling good. And Auburn fans a couple weeks ago probably felt like, oh, Alabama lost to A&M. We might have a chance in the Iron Bowl. It's in Auburn this year, And now at this point, it's like Alabama's hitting their stride and Auburn's tumbling downwards, and it seems like that's just going to be another blowout too. So this is really their last chance to feel good.
I guess the other question that I ask, 803-404-6100, because you bring up Bo Nix, and for South Carolina, you bring up Jason Brown. Is there still an excitement level or belief that Jason Brown is the quarterback for this football team? I think there was kind of a fascination with Zeb Nolan early on, and then you saw the first
story.
Because that's what I'm saying. There was a fascination. I don't think there was ever a belief that he was the guy. Luke Doty, there was more of an interest in what he could be. With Jason Brown, you've seen the good. You've seen the really good with the Florida game where he just went out and was competent, made a few plays here and there to create big plays. Then you saw last week, which, again, I don't think that the Florida game was a great game by Jason Brown by any stretch of the imagination. I think he did what he had to do to win that game, and South Carolina ran the ball effectively. Same thing last week. I don't think Jason Brown was awful last week. I think he was competent. I don't really put the loss on him. I feel like he is a guy who's going to go out tomorrow night, be in the range of 17 for 27 for about 200 yards, maybe 250. He'll throw an interception tomorrow night that'll probably upset you.
250 would be a really good game.
It would. Well, I think they're going to have to throw it a little bit more early on. I think they're going to have to throw it early on and then turn around and go back to the run. But I don't know if Jason Brown goes out and wins you the football game tomorrow night without a running game. But I'll finish in this and then say what you want about Jason Brown. I think there may be still some excitement level with Gamecock fans who say, hey, I think we've got a guy maybe at quarterback who can get us through these next two.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is the excitement level about this is the best guy we've got for this season? If we want to salvage a bowl game out of this season, he's the best guy to give us a shot there? Or is the excitement level about we might have found a guy, he's got eligibility next year, another year under the, I guess it could potentially not be this offense, but another year in the weight room and with SEC experience, maybe he could be the guy that can actually lead you to be competitive in every game in the East. Is that what people are thinking? Because I never really could figure that out when people were saying we need to see Jason Brown, got to see Jason Brown. Was it about, yeah, he's got another year of eligibility, so maybe he can be the guy for at least the near future, or is it just all about this season? Because what are you thinking about for next season? I think most people would probably be in the camp of you got to bring somebody else into the quarterback room next year, because this group, while it has potential, Luke Doty's still very young, has a lot of football ahead of him, struggled this year, to say the least. And Jason Brown, you've seen 2 games of him. He came from the FCS level. He's not lit the world on fire. He won a big game when the running game was incredible and he didn't have to do too much. I just don't know what the thought is. Like, do we want to just see him get us to a bowl game and he's our best chance in 2 weeks? Or do we want to see, hey, let's run it back next year, because in a full year of off season and he's the starting quarterback and all this stuff, he could be really good.
I think it doesn't matter as long as South Carolina has competent quarterback play. And where,
what is competent? I mean,
I think it's what Jason Brown has done to an extent so far.
Is competent? Is that really enough anymore, though?
To win the SEC, to win the East?
No.
No. You've got to have.
I mean, Georgia has competent quarterback play, but they've also got the best roster in college football.
Ridiculous defense. But
Tennessee is having exceptional quarterback play.
Yeah, if you want to take the next step, if South Carolina wanted to win 8 or 9 games, you've got to, and maybe Jason Brown with an offseason under his belt, with continuing to learn the SEC level of football and not the FCS level, it maybe there is a step forward. I am with you. South Carolina, they'll bring in Braden Davis. Luke Doty should still be here. The quarterback transfer portal is going to be insane in the offseason. Basically, if you're a backup anywhere, you may end up trying the transfer portal. I still think Anthony Richardson's going to go in from Florida. We'll see what happens at Texas A&M. Haynes King was the starter.
Only Anthony Richardson's going from Florida, or you think? Because that's interesting too. I mean, if one leaves, then one is going to be the starter.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's your selling point. It's like, all right, well, that guy's leaving.
It's all yours.
It's all like, you're not fighting for your job anymore. Right. Haynes King at Texas A&M or Calzada, Zach Calzada, do both of them stick it out? The era of having, I think, a roster, Georgia will be another interesting, because you got Brock Vandergriff, Gunnar Stockton, we know is coming in.
Stetson Bennett is going to be done after this year. Is that right?
I think he has unlimited eligibility.
I
think he
no idea.
Applied for a cheat code.
Other than the people that are going to go to the NFL, I have no idea who's coming back in college football.
It's hard to understand, because if I go look right now at ESPN, it'll give me what their actual,
and it's going to say senior, but we're not going to know what it means.
Right. Because as you just pointed out, Stetson Bennett last year was a free year. So it tells me that Stetson Bennett is a senior, but is he a super senior? Is he, I mean, it has him listed as having thrown passes in 3 different years, 2019, 2020, and 2021.
So that means he probably, well, I guess if he didn't throw a pass as a true freshman, maybe.
Yeah.
Then he could be done. But if he's only played 3 years and this is his 4th year, then he can come back next year.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's all, again,
it's so confusing.
It is with it. And I've, in talking with coaches, I think even they're slightly confused on how the numbers are exactly. Shane Beamer kind of alluded to that, I think, Tuesday, when asked about Jason Brown and guys coming back for their extra year, just trying to figure out the scholarship numbers and how all that will end up working. But I'm with you. You've got to end up bringing in one guy out of the transfer portal for South Carolina to compete with what we assume to be Luke Doty, what we assume to be Braden Davis, what we assume to be Jason Brown, and what we assume to be Colton Gauthier. You've got to have a quarterback room that creates competition right now, that pushes everybody to be better. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. Lottie weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. You can do that. You can also hit us up on the Love Chevy phone lines as well. And, of course, the Buford Lending live stream coming up at 7:30 this morning. J.C. Sherbert from thebigspur.com will weigh in with his take on the South Carolina offense. And at 8:05 this morning, Chris Deering will join us to talk about the 3rd round of the high school playoffs. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
This is Gamecock basketball head coach Frank Martin, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia.
I tell you what, this time next week, probably still be in a little bit of a turkey coma, right? Like, we'll still kind of be recovering. The other thing that might be recovering is your house. If you've hosted all of the family members over there, your house probably a little dirty, probably need to get it cleaned. That will be the time to call Zero Res and get them out to your house to start the month of December. Get them out there with the patented ZR water technology, incredible and scientifically proven to get your carpet, rugs, tile, and upholstery insanely clean. So when your aunt or your cousin or some grandfather spills a few things on the carpet next Thursday and then looks at you like it's your fault, just tell them it's all right. You got Zero Res coming, and they will clean it up for you. Just continue to enjoy the cranberry sauce. 803-262-4020. That's how you can book your cleaning today. ZeroResColumbia.com, the website you can also go on and book. Again, 803-262-4020 is the phone number. Right now, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Again, that's 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 when you mention my name, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. That phone number again to book that great post-Thanksgiving cleaning, 803-262-4020. You can also go online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
All right. Our options are, we want to pick Arkansas Bama. Is that an obvious one? A ranked SEC matchup, CBS game? Probably. So then our option for number 4 is Iowa State, Oklahoma, Florida, Missouri, or we do Oregon, Utah. Okay. Yeah, I just know nothing about the teams. I'm throwing darts. Is that a 10:30 game or no? It can't be, right? ABC. Ooh, Southern Cal, UCLA. What is going to be the attendance in the Coliseum for 6-4 UCLA at 4-5 Southern Cal? It's a lot.
40,000.
Jeez, what's he doing up so early? Oh, 7.5. Mizzou outright. You could probably get a pretty good payout on that. Florida's 8.5-point favorite, but I kind of agree. All right. We got our picks. Michigan State at Ohio State. Ohio State minus 19.5. Wake at Clemson. Clemson minus 4.5. Arkansas at Bama. Bama minus 20.5. Oregon at Utah. Utah minus 3.5. Auburn USC. Auburn's 7.5. Did think it was 6.5. I would have changed that on the poll if I knew that. Auburn's 7.5 now. Last I checked, it was 6.5. All right, you want to take this call? Take this call.
Makes you smile. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
803-404-6100. How you can weigh in this morning, or you can go to the Buford Lending live stream and join us. LeVar saying good morning to everyone. Craig, Robin weighing in. Oh, happy Friday to everybody. RL weighing in. The whole offense is still adjusting. I don't know what Doty and Brown's ceilings are, but they will need to play much better if we hope to win more than 7 games next year. 803-404-6100. Back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Keith is up next with some thoughts on the South Carolina quarterback. Keith, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Good. The Auburn fan that came in, y'all were talking about, I think most of us Carolina fans are optimistic, but we are also realistic about expectations. Look at the whole body of work. I mean, it's not very good. And I thought last week was our best chance. I think Saturday you're going to see double, triple tight end sets, power football downhill, and they're going to want to run it 40 to 45 and maybe throw it 18 to 25. And you know what? And I think Bobo will stay with it, unlike us that just does we just draw a play out of the bag and call it. But we've got to recruit or get a transfer quarterback, and that's no disrespect to the 4 people we have on the roster. But if we're going to get better, that's got to get a lot better. And I just, I don't see it. But enjoy listening to your show. Just thought I'd throw that in the fire. And I'll listen the rest of the morning. Y'all have a great morning and good Friday and a good week.
You too, Keith. Yeah, thank you for the phone call, and happy have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving as well. Patrick, look, how this season finishes out. Matter of fact, we get a text on the Cool Care Heating and Air text. Actually, let me read this one first. It's different. Anonymous texter just weighs in and says, "Man, the Falcons are terrible." That's all. That's the text. 25-0 last night. Patriots beat the Falcons.
3 different quarterbacks threw an interception last night for the Falcons. First time in 21 years that's happened.
Yeah. Another anonymous texter weighs in. He says, "If Carolina wins out, how would you grade the season?" That's a great question.
Is it? It's very easy.
It's an A. I mean,
It's
you would say an A.
Success, yes.
It's an A because
if you said before the season you're going to beat Florida, Auburn, and Clemson
to wrap
and
it
you're
up,
going to win 7 games and go to a bowl, yeah, it's a wild success.
I think the offense has been so bad that I'm not sure everybody would agree. I feel like people would argue with you on that. I agree with you because I think just being 6-6. I'll say this: just being 6-6, and if you beat Clemson, I think most people, 90% of the people out there would have signed up for that on August 1.
Yeah, if you just asked before the season, go to a bowl game and beat Clemson, everyone says sign me up. No, nothing else. Eliminate everything else. Just all you know is that we're going to a bowl and we're beating Clemson.
I think everybody's in. So yeah, so I'm yeah. Obviously, if you win out 7-5 might actually get you into something like the Belk Bowl, or might get you a little bit further. I don't know what bowls are even possible right now for South Carolina. I really have not gotten into bowl scenarios, but certainly that is 7-5 would be good. We'll just have to see. And to his point about quarterbacks, I think we all agree on that. I don't think anybody out there right now is saying that Jason Brown or Luke Doty or Colton Gauthier or anybody is in particular that guy. I think we all agree there's got to be more competition in that room to see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you watch even a bad team like Louisville last night, not a bad team, they're a mediocre team at best, but they have a quarterback that just wins games by himself. Like South Carolina fans, we want something like that. Enough of the game managers or guys that are just pretty good. Like South Carolina really just needs a legitimate game changer, and that's why I think that's why people were so excited about Luke Doty this year, because he was billed as a great athlete, best athlete on the team. That's why he played wide receiver. He's on Bruce Feldman's freaks list and all these things. And it was like, okay, well, we have someone that potentially with athleticism can just win a game by himself and not just take what's been given to him. And it's just, yeah, that's what South Carolina is missing. I mean, all these guys are fine. You can win games against teams you're supposed to beat. If the defense plays great and you get the running game going, they can not make a mistake and game manage you to a win. But if you really want to achieve what ultimately you want to achieve, which is an Eastern Conference championship, I assume, and playing tight games against Georgia and scoring a ton of points and just being a fun team to watch, yeah, you got to explore the transfer portal.
Well, and that's what Rod from Greenville asks. Would you keep the offensive coordinator if you go 7-5? No. You're right. You got there in spite of the offensive coordinator. And D from Manning weighs in. Good point here. He says it doesn't matter about the quarterback. We've got to get some offensive linemen. Certainly that's an area that has got to be fixed as well. We need to address that. We'll talk about the weekend that will be. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. JC Sherbert at about 7:35 this morning, 8:05 Chris Deering. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Yeah, Craig, I think you're exactly right. I think that's why people were so fired up, because that is the type of quarterback that we're talking about here. A legit 5-star, dual threat, great athlete. I do wonder how long South Carolina fans are going to, or not how long, but when again will South Carolina fans start clinging to hope that Gunnar Stockton would potentially transfer? Will that be a talking point, Bill? If Georgia goes with Brock Vandegrift and he plays really well, are South Carolina fans going to grasp the fact that Gunnar Stockton could transfer? That'll come up, right? Yeah. We'll have to. You got to turn your mic on.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got the cleaning lady coming today, and so I had to leave my door unlocked.
Were we seeing any signs that Doty really was going to produce?
I think I've seen a couple. I mean, enough that I.
You don't give up on him.
Enough that I don't give up on him. I don't know if I haven't seen anything that makes me say, oh yeah, this kid's definitely but
He was sold as being better than what I thought he came out to be.
I think the passing part of it is one thing. The part that has really amazed me with him, and again, I've said it on here multiple times, he doesn't look like a natural dual threat quarterback. Like when he goes to run, and I know people say, well, his foot was injured, but he runs to me the same as he did last year. It's like when he goes to run, the first 3 steps are in slow motion before he can actually take off. Like I don't think he's a quick twitch athlete.
That's possible. He's just fast.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Fast line guy. He's not.
Jenny, you going tomorrow? Are you going to the game tomorrow?
Sorry, we'll be back in a second.
Thanks, RL. That was kind of my assessment a little bit. But I'm no Bill Gunner.
Hour number 2 coming up in about 30 minutes. We'll catch up with JC Sherbert of thebigspur.com to get his take on tomorrow night's game. Also, just on the general state of South Carolina's offense, because I think that's going to be the big question, Patrick, not just for the next 2 hours of our program, but really for the next, what do you think, the next about a week and a half? I don't know what the timetable is post Clemson game that Shane Beamer would, and I do think Shane Beamer is going to have to come out and say, hey, this is my, like after the Clemson game, and I don't know if it's the Monday or the Tuesday or the Wednesday. It'll need to be kind of soon, but I think Shane Beamer will have to come out after the Clemson game and say either, hey, this is our guy, we're sticking with him, I believe in him, or there's going to have to be a change. I don't think that is a situation because it's been discussed so much. There's been so many issues. Shane has been asked about it so many times in press conferences. I don't think it's something that you can just kind of stay quiet on up until signing day. There's so many people that look at this offense and say, if it was semi-competent, maybe you win the Kentucky game, and now we're having a completely different discussion. Maybe you win the Missouri game, and we're having a completely different discussion. It's going to have to be I get not addressing it during the season and not throwing your assistants under the bus. I totally understand Shane not.
You're trying to win football games each week. It's not going to help anything.
But that is a situation that I don't think Shane Beamer. I don't know if there will be some kind of season-ending press conference.
Obviously, if you let him go, it's going to be discussed. You're going to have to talk about it. But yeah, I agree. If you are keeping him, you have to make a strong statement saying there were other problems. We're going to get it worked out. We're going to hit the transfer portal hard. We like our recruiting class. We'll get new guys in here, and we'll have a returning quarterback with the experience and whatever. Yeah, you have to firmly stand by him if you're going to hold on to him because, I don't think you can just keep him and then say, what are you guys talking about? Why would I say anything? Or just wait till the press conference, the end of season press conference, where people are going to ask you about it. I mean, you have to say something.
Yeah, and you really can't.
you cannot say he's going to be leaving after this year because you need your players to still be bought into him, so
right.
there's nothing they can do until after the season.
They could. I mean, we've
You
seen.
can't Orgeron
Look,
it.
Well,
you
I mean,
know,
you could.
it'd be better if they did.
look, Florida just did the same thing. They fired Todd Grantham.
Yeah.
So it's not unheard of.
But especially with the positivity and the family culture,
Mm-hmm.
everything that Beamer has been trying to build, I just think that would not serve them well.
Well,
you know,
I think if you compare the two situations, Florida's in a different place than South Carolina with where Dan Mullen is with that program. Whereas you're right.
And what's the relationship between Dan Mullen and Todd Grantham?
True, but they've worked together for a
They've
while.
worked together, but
Grantham's been with him for a
They've
while.
worked together, but they're not like close friends for 20 years.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll catch up with JC Sherbert in about 30 minutes here, and we'll get his take on it as well. But certainly, that is going to be a big discussion moving forward. And if South Carolina comes out and has a good offensive night tomorrow night and wins the football game, I think it adds another layer to the discussion. If they go out tomorrow night and they lose, let's just say hypothetically that you said the spread's 7.5. Let's say they lose 17-10. I think a lot of you on Monday and Tuesday, and if you're still fired up on Wednesday, you will once again, and rightfully so, say, look, with a competent offensive coordinator, season's entirely different. And it's an interesting situation as we go through the final two games here. And again, to me, it's just strange to continue to talk about the potential of South Carolina getting to a bowl game. I don't know what bowl game that would be. Maybe the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa on December 23rd against Texas San Antonio. I'm not sure a lot of you would be really fired up for that. But the opportunity, Patrick, kind of going back to the thing with becoming bowl eligible is not the game itself, I think. It's the practices you get in December, whether it's with Marcus Satterfield as offensive coordinator or if it's with somebody else trying to develop players. Look, you can say,
from a team standpoint, but for the fan base, there's just something about, we were good enough to at least make the postseason. Right. Yeah. There's something like subconsciously there that you can go into it and say you just feel like you're really bad. Even if you go to a bad bowl game, it's another game. You get to watch your team one more time, maybe travel in the winter to a nice place. But if you don't make the bowl game, it just kind of is the dividing line between, okay, we were very bad. We weren't even good enough to play a mid-major in a bowl game.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll see where it goes. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100 is how you can join us.
By the way, the 45 points is the over-under, so Vegas does not think South Carolina will be breaking 20 points.
Okay. It's
supposed to be like a 27-18, 26-18 type of game.
Okay.
If it's 7.5 and 45 points is what we're going with.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the ballpark of what you're talking about there. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning if you'd like to. Again, Stephen weighing in, they need competent offensive players. Yeah, they do have to improve at wide receiver. They need to improve on the offensive line. The quarterback, we've discussed that ad nauseum this morning. So again, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. You can also go to the Buford Lending live stream. RL weighs in on the live stream and says, I don't think letting the OC go before the end of the season will have much effect on the last game or so. Travis says, I see Greg Atkins not being brought back, but I just don't see Satterfield not getting another year. So you've got that there this morning if you want to weigh in. Also last night, South Carolina, a 66-63 victory over Alabama Birmingham at Colonial Life Arena. 15 points from Eric Stevenson, who breaks out of his shooting slump, 3 of 5 from three-point range, 6 of 9 from the field. He did foul out, and not a good foul at the end of the game either. 24 minutes played. James Reese last night, 4 of 5 from three-point range, 14 points in the Gamecock win. And Wildens Levesque last night, Patrick, I think the most impressive player, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the foul line. And Levesque is to me, is developing into a solid big man down low. He does some things that I can see is going to drive Frank Martin crazy. He, every once in a while, last night, great hustle play. I think it was in the first half. Great hustle play, gets a great rebound, tips it to himself, out jumps 2 or 3 guys, grabs it on the right side of the rim, spins around, and it looked like my 9 and 10-year-old basketball team, because he then turned around and threw it up and it hit the backboard and went over to the other side. Like, didn't hit the rim. Like, literally just got it, threw it up, hit the backboard, went to the other side. But it was great. It was the kind of hustle and effort that South Carolina needs down in the low post. And I think Wildens Levesque is developing into what will be a solid. we won't compare him to Chris Silva, but Levesque is a big physical young man who's got some athleticism, plays really hard, and also looks like a leader for this basketball team.
Yeah, and do you feel like he came into the year feeling like he was going to be challenged, like his job was being challenged by all these transfers? So, I think that might have just brought the best out of him, because if he's not playing well, there's going to be guys to replace him, whereas last year that wasn't necessarily the case in terms of at least guys of his size. There's no one to really fill in.
It doesn't hurt that in practice he now gets to go against Trayvon Minott and Josh Gray, two bigger
legit centers.
Like, I'm not saying
centers.
that. Yeah, I'm not saying
oversized power forwards.
I'm not saying that those guys are great and they're making him better, but I'm saying the size of those two guys in practice. When you get to
who's
practice,
the next biggest guy last year? McCreary. Until Minott got there, obviously.
Yeah, I think you're right. McCreary was. Yeah.
He's with wingspan and everything. He's over a foot above McCreary if they're going up for rebounds and stuff like that. You don't really think about that, just not playing against a true center in practice, and then some of the beasts that you were playing against in the SEC last year, like a Tillman from Missouri or somebody like that, and it's just a totally different scene.
Yeah, a little surprised we haven't seen. I don't know the exact story. I did not hang around for Frank's post-game press conference last night, but a little surprised we've not seen more of Trayvon Minott. I thought that was a guy who would maybe make a little bit more of an impact. But Taquan Woodley, the freshman,
he didn't even play last night.
No, he did not. The Taquan Woodley, the freshman, has come in and has made an impact, and he does look like a solid player. Again, he plays with a high motor. I like this basketball team. I don't know what they're going to be, because I feel like you can get a night like last night where they shoot just below 50% from three-point range. They were 8 of 17. They were 22 of 52 from the field as a whole. I feel like you're going to get some good shooting nights. And I think that as this team goes through November and December, I know that Mark on the Buford Lending live stream mentioned the defense and giving up a 16-point lead there late in the ball game. But I like this team defensively too. They are a bigger physical team, and certainly bigger and physical, but I don't know what they're going to be. It's going to be how this team continues to come together and gel. 22 turnovers last night is a lot of turnovers. And again, some of those passes, they were just flat bad passes. It wasn't not knowing each other, not being on the same page. It was just flat bad passes.
I do like this play analysis thing they have on the box score on the Gamecocks Online website. And South Carolina was outscored in points in the paint. They were outscored in bench points, and they was tied in second chance points. So it's not like they physically dominated this team. It doesn't look like.
No, and UAB is not going to be a bad team. They're going to contend in the conference that they are in, Conference USA. They're going to be a team that'll be on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. So again, good win last night. South Carolina will get back to the court next Tuesday against Wofford, and again that'll be another chance for this team to kind of continue to come together, develop, and we'll see what they end up being.
Without Bryant,
one more. He's a 5-game suspension, so you'll get him back for Ryder, and it's going to be interesting to see how he fits back into this roster. AJ Wilson, another guy who didn't play last night, who was expected to play. Brandon Martin, Frank's son, played last night and contributed. I thought he did good things.
Now, 24 minutes.
Can he do that at the SEC in SEC play? I think will be interesting. Although again, Alabama, Birmingham, very athletic last night. Had been a good shooting team prior to last night. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well, 34% last night, and just 27% from three-point range.
Brandon Martin led South Carolina rebounds last night.
He plays hard, and that's
and he's 6'5". He's not like a huge guy out there.
I'm not sure that that's what South Carolina fans want to hear when you hear about this basketball team, because I feel like, with the exception of last year, you always say that about Frank Martin's teams, that they play hard.
Mm-hmm.
You always say that. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Young Sean is up here. First up, how you doing, young man?
Good. How are y'all?
We're great. We're awesome.
So I'm going to the Carolina football game versus Auburn, and I hopefully get to see Patrick there.
Yeah, I will be there. Where are you sitting?
Don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
In the stadium. He'll be in the stadium. Yeah,
he's sending Sean out to scalp, and the cute face will get a good price on the tickets.
Just look for the mustached man running around. That'll be Patrick.
Somebody invited us.
Oh, somebody invited you. Okay.
I got
Somebody invited us.
Gotcha. Okay, buddy. You heading to school this
But
morning?
I'll probably notice him.
You probably
Yeah.
will.
I can see his reactions to Carolina.
Give us a score prediction real quick before you head into school.
Let's see. 35-17.
35-17. We're writing that down. We'll hold you to it. Good luck in school today and have fun tomorrow night at the game.
Thank you.
Young Sean. Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines.
It's the youth.
It is
segment.
the youth movement. Yes, we're bringing in a youth movement. Young Harper. Harper, is that right?
Mhm.
Went green on me. All right.
Yes.
All right, Harper. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic, buddy. What are you thinking about this morning?
I just wanted to say that me and my dad listen to the radio every morning, and just wanted to tell y'all that y'all do a great job.
Oh, we appreciate
Thank
it. Tell your dad he owes you a donut
That's right.
this
Gosh.
morning
That's right.
on the early game.
Okay.
Get
on
it-
the
get-
other game.
on the
Put it on
early
our
game.
tab.
Yeah, just pull up to Dunkin'. The girl asked me at Dunkin' Donuts this morning, and when I went through, she's like, "You getting donuts today?" I was like, "Actually, I'm going to try and lose a little weight here. We're back close to the 160 ceiling. I think I was at 158.6 the other day. So we laid off in with Thanksgiving next week. So
Okay.
thank you for the
That was
phone
very
call,
nice.
Harper. Should have.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. Yes, it's a great way to start your day. Great way for all of us to start our
Expanding the
day.
demographic.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's how you do it. You just keep bringing them in young, and you
Yeah.
just train.
We need them
just
to
train
keep radio alive.
We appreciate
100%.
appreciate all the great parents who, on the way to school, make the
We try
kids
to make it
listen to
fun
us.
and family friendly,
We do.
so that they can listen.
We do. Yep. The non family friendly hour comes in the 8:00 hour
Yeah.
when I'm trying to read liners and I mess up words.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, they're all in school, learning something far more important.
Mm-hmm.
803-404-6100. How you can join us. Doesn't matter your age. We'll let you. We've had Gamecock Larry on this morning. Upper 80s, 87.
Yeah. 87.
Sean and Harper, we cover all spectrums. Clemson fans, too. Our buddy Jim Corley and our buddy Ray down in Bowman, both of them, they've weighed in this morning. Clemson fans, Carolina fans, young and old alike. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
College football playoffs are here.
Sometime, crew is up against it. The brakes are beating the boys. Tell them to get out there and give it all they've got.
Weather hot, weather cold. It's all kinds of fun out there right now. And that can actually cause some issues, maybe with your back, can cause some joints to stiffen up, feel a little pain. Now would be the time to call Casey Chiropractic Center. Get in touch with them. Our buddy Chuck on the live stream goes and visits them and recommends them highly. I do as well. Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper are in the business of getting you back into your lifestyle. And at KC Chiropractic Center, they offer reasonable upfront pricing, no gimmicks or hidden fees. They do not engage in high pressure sales or scare tactics. They work with you not only to take care of you and get you back up and running, but to make sure that it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. Right now, call KC Chiropractic Center and get an appointment scheduled. If you've been out playing golf or you've been sitting in those cold, hard bleachers over at Williams-Brice Stadium, now would be the time to go try the natural approach to any kind of issues you're having with your shoulders, with your back, with your hips. Let Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper take care of you. 803-796-2424. How about this? Research proves spinal decompression has excellent long-term effectiveness even 4 years later. 803-796-2424. The number of points we're talking about South Carolina needing to score at least tomorrow night to have a chance to win. 803-796-2424. That's how you can remember their phone number. Give Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper a call today. Let them help you get your lifestyle back. That's Casey Chiropractic Center.
Lifelong listeners, yes. Yeah, it's true. See, Cortex and Patrick sounds like an old man. We need them to keep radio alive. Patrick's a young man himself. Yeah, exactly. I got a long career ahead of me. If radio doesn't last, I'm not gonna last. That's why I need them. By the way, I would gladly do this. My own random segments during commercial breaks.
I think that could be fun.
There's only certain things I can really go off about, though. Mostly movies. I'm going to try and watch King Richard this weekend. Kind of excited for that. What else is coming out? I still need to see James Bond. I'll probably go see James Bond on Sunday. Last chance to see it in the theaters.
Yeah, if I want to, I probably should.
Ooh. And then next weekend's a big weekend. House of Gucci, 157 minutes. That movie's going to be awesome. Licorice Pizza, going to be awesome. No idea really what it's about, but anything Paul Thomas Anderson I will watch. Yeah, I like him. I mean, I wouldn't call myself like a huge, like massive Bond fan, but I watch them all. I haven't seen every Bond movie. Like I couldn't tell you all the Bonds,
But they're good. They're good movies.
I think there have been. I don't know if 7's right. I think there have been 7 Bonds. Seven James Bonds. Actors, no. 7 actors have played Bond. I could name probably 5. Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton, Daniel Craig. I couldn't associate all of the movies with them though. I'd probably need to go back and one of these days when I have like a week, I'll just
Lazenby.
Lazenby, yeah.
Don't remember that one.
Yeah, one of these days I'll just spend like a week and just watch them all. I like Daniel Craig though.
I do too. And I heard there was something about they might try to come up with a female Bond. As a woman, I should probably be like, yeah, that's great. But to me, have their own series, like not be Bond.
I think that might be hinted at in this movie. I've tried to avoid spoilers, but I think I've seen that hinted at.
There's James Bond. Well, then they could have the series of like Jen Bond.
Do that. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I need more time. I'm not going to have much time to go to the movies for the rest of the year, but I do still have my movie pass. It's every month I pay for it. I got it November, first week in November or second week in November, and I've seen 5 movies. Oh no, I got in October, mid-October. I saw Shang-Chi, The Last Duel, Dune, Eternals, and The French Dispatch.
Yeah, because it's about 5.5, 6 minutes. Sounds good. Yeah, and then maybe break by like 7:40, and then you got time to finish them. Correct. Okay, so you weren't going to continue after the break. You were just going to finish him. Okay, perfect.
What does this mean? What are they trying to do with Charlize? Because she's not British.
There you go, Chuck.
Right? I don't think I'm gonna watch season 2 of Tiger King. I don't know. Yeah. No, but like it. I mean, they're not gonna do it like a recurring thing, but there is a season 2. Oh, Atomic Blonde is gonna be that thing. I didn't see Atomic Blonde. Oh, I would watch it. I like Charlize.
On Twitter yesterday of the lady filming the 2 snakes. One of them was a timber rattler.
No.
And it got eaten by a I'll have to go back and look. It was crazy. 901. Good job. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go to. You heard me say it. Was at Colonial Life Arena last night for South Carolina and UAB. I will be back actually next Tuesday night as well for Wofford in South Carolina. I'll take Austin to that. But coming up Wednesday, December 8th, I will really get into the Christmas spirit. Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming back to Columbia Wednesday, December 8th at Colonial Life Arena. You can purchase tickets now. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Tickets are on sale now. Again, Wednesday, December 8th, Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to Columbia at Colonial Life Arena. I've talked to a lot of people. I haven't been, Patrick. We talked about this. I think you said you might have been once to Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
No, I just like listening to them on
Just
Spotify.
like listening to. Again, I've tried the Christmas music the last few days. I've given it a shot here and there. It's just I think it's going to have to be a post Thanksgiving thing. But you can get into the spirit Wednesday, December 8th at Colonial Life Arena, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Again, tickets on sale now. A portion of the proceeds benefiting Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence.
You've been to their shows, right? Or no?
No, I've never been. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to.
It's incredible. The pyrotechnics and their storytelling and the music and lasers.
Yeah, I'm into it.
It's pretty amazing.
You have been to it?
No, I'm into it.
Oh, you're into it.
I love them.
You definitely should go.
Okay, there you go. So you should go. We should all go.
That's
just one big station as a thing. Everybody that listens, we should all go. We'll coordinate plans.
There you go.
In the next few weeks to all just meet up and go. We'll just all go. All right, there's that. Wednesday, December 8th, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I don't have a segue. I don't know where to go from
I was
there.
actually looking for the segue where they play in Chicago, but I don't think they play in
Okay,
Chicago.
thank you. Yeah, I was looking for a segue. Let's just go out. Let's just go to the phone lines. Let's bring in the guest. He'll fix everything. JC Sherbert, thebigspur.com, up early with us this morning. How you doing, my man? You doing all right?
Yeah, I've been to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I'm like a theater dork, and I should have liked it, but I didn't. I saw them in Greenville. I guess it was about 3 or 4 years ago. Good seats, left early.
Why?
I just, it just wasn't my bag of tea. I don't know. I love concerts. It was one of those things you go into and you're like, I should have liked this, but I didn't. And it makes me nervous because I'm going to see the new Ghostbusters film tonight. I've been waiting 30 years for this. And
I actually
I'm
think I want
nervous
to see that.
I'm worried I'm not going to like it.
Yeah, I like the cat. It's got the kid from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, I think is his name. It's got. I didn't realize Paul Rudd's in it. Yeah,
crazy that you know that
all the
kid's name.
females will go see it because of Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
I
amen to
don't
that.
know of a chick alive that doesn't love Paul Rudd, but
yeah,
story.
It's just one of those things. I'm nervous. I'm like, so many times I get disappointed. So, but hey, team I cover and have followed my whole life. Sometimes they're disappointing as well, so I'm used to it.
And there's your segue.
There's your segue. All right, now we're into football. Okay, that's why I bring you. Good time. You and I used to do a radio show. You'd bring me in, and then you fired me one day. It was fun. Let's talk about this football team and what's going on. Actually, you fired me because you promoted yourself to the 3 to 6 show. It was actually a funny show. He spent the whole show like just. You remember that? Years ago.
I think I fired you like 4 or 5 times.
That was,
I don't remember.
Well, yeah, and then you it was a joking firing that morning, but then your co-host didn't show up for the very next show, and you had to bring me back, which was actually funnier.
Yeah, like, you're back, Bill.
Yeah.
You know, you're like that guy in the minor leagues that keeps coming. You know, you got to activate Gunner again because
if you just hang around long enough, they
funny.
just give up trying to get rid of you, and that's been my entire plan. I hate to say it this way. Is that going to be Marcus Satterfield's plan? Is it just if he hangs around long enough, they just give up trying to get rid of him? Because, JC, you and I have talked about it, that the offense right now certainly seems to be an issue. Last weekend was not. I don't understand it. Can you follow it? You break it down a lot more than I do. Can you kind of understand and explain what's going on with this offense and where they're trying to go with the play calling?
Well, I mean, when you kind of dig into it, the play calling, if you really have to kind of dig into like exactly what they're calling against what. And, I'm not smart enough to know like this is a good call against this defense or bad defense or whatever, or bad call. And I'm not so sure it's like the actual plays. I think some of the plays, if you look at them, and even the ones that don't develop for whatever reason, you can kind of see the intent. I think, and I've said this the whole year, and Marcus Satterfield even mentioned it. It's like, what are you asking your players to do? And I think what they're asking the players to do in most of the games this season, Florida being the exception, they just can't do it. I mean, and you have to start to think about, is even this something you can do at the collegiate level? And you talk to people at other schools and inside the program here at Carolina, and it's just like, there's nothing wrong. Shane Beamer is right when he says people hear pro-style offense and freak out. I think a lot of people still think pro-style offense is I formation, 2 tight ends, whatever. And, you run the ball and then hope to win 20-17 or something like that, or it's similar to what Georgia's run historically or Alabama before they started doing the RPOs. But that's not really it. The pro-style offense thing can work. You just have to be able to, because most offenses these days are at their core pro-style. You have air raid, but, look at Cliff Kingsbury. It's a pro offense. The Kansas City Chiefs run air raid concepts, college concepts. So I think there's a breakdown, number one, in the teaching of it. And most college coaches are teachers. That's anybody will tell you that. You can ask Frank Martin about that in all sports. And the teaching, I think, and then, because there's some sort of disconnect there. And then I think pre-snap, there's just all kinds of issues. I think that, whether it's too much on the quarterback or the lines calling the protection or what, and when you have inexperience at quarterback and you have guys that are kind of making their first or second starts or the young like Luke Doty or that hadn't played like Zeb Nolan, you really have to scale it back. And, I thought they did that really well against Florida. I thought that, the line just kind of went out and blocks people and they ran the ball and it was nice. And, you saw some creativity, and I don't mind the creativity. I like running a flea flicker on the first play of the game and all that, but the core of this offense is almost non-existent. And when you try to reinvent the wheel every week, which is, I was told that was kind of what happened, you're going to have this disconjointed offense in college because, it's nice to sit there and think, hey, we can go trick these guys every single week and run a whole new thing and all that. But that's tough with 17 hours to get it all in and all that good stuff. So I think that, play calling is sort of a catch-all for it. And I'm not saying there's not Why? Because against Missouri, the ends are rushing upfield. And again, I'm smart enough to figure this out. That little pass they finally threw to Zaquandre White, which I think he's still running. I think he just passed St. Louis. That's kind of how you attack something like that. And I didn't see a whole lot of that the other night. And, it was just unfortunate. It was just an unfortunate ball game. I don't think by any stretch Missouri is far superior to South Carolina. And I think you saw the final score. Gamecocks got a couple turnovers, got right back in it. But the disconjointedness on offense has continued, reared its ugly head again. And I just, I think when you look around, like I said, you call down, you talk to your guy at Alabama, Bill O'Brien, NFL guy, running an NFL offense. Now they got great players, but they scale it way back, and I know that it's been said that 25% of the playbook is all we're running here at South Carolina, et cetera. It's not the percentage of plays. It's kind of how they're being taught and executed, and the expectation there, I think is a little too much for these guys to handle. I think it's been proven. You can look at the offensive line and tell they're confused. I mean, you can't tell me, and it's not like all five of them are confused. I mean, there's obviously some whiffs. 75 is a big culprit, but you look at them in general, there's just some sort of disconjointedness, and we've seen all these guys play better over the years and against Florida or whatnot, but it just seems it was a great reversion, or it reverted, I guess, against Missouri, and that's unfortunate. And obviously, when you lose like that, there's going to be a lot of criticism, and so and rightfully so, because this was not going to be a juggernaut offense this season at all. South Carolina doesn't have the vertical threats. There's some missing pieces recruiting wise. I mentioned the quarterback situation, but it should be better than what it is going into the season. You're like, well, South Carolina should be able to run the ball against most of the teams, not all the teams, but most of the teams. Then if they get in a game where they have to throw it, they may be in some trouble. But that's not really even what's happened. It's the reverse. South Carolina hasn't been running all year. I think the passing game's been somewhat respectable compared to expectations. So, and look, these next two games, it has to get better, or there's going to be no bowl, and probably a lot of unhappy Gamecocks.
Well, I feel like we can kind of see the writing on the wall with the coordinator, but what can you do next year? Like, how hard? What can you do in the transfer portal? Can you bring in 3-4 new linemen, and can you still build an offensive line that way? And I mean, do you think they need to attack? I mean, what do they need to do to fix this? You can't just rely on freshman recruits.
If there were, first of all, it's very difficult to get offensive linemen out of the portal because everybody needs them. Everybody. I mean, you saw Jordan Rhodes. I mean, he leaves. He hadn't started a game since 2019. Moved to defensive tackle last year after opting out, and he's starting at Ole Miss. I mean, it's that people are that star, especially in the Southeast, because we like to think that our region of the country produces the best players all across the board. That's true, with the exception of offensive line. I mean, you look around the league, everybody's got line issues because the defensive lines are so good. And look, South Carolina, I think if they can find a tackle that can come in and start, whether it's JUCO or transfer portal, whatever, great. Because I think that's a position, true tackles, it's a little bit light. But the rest of it, I mean, you're going to have to get the guys on campus ready to go, because you can't depend on freshmen and you can't depend on the portal. And they left, the previous staff did leave, 19 scholarship offensive linemen. So, and depending on who transfers out or whatnot, or who returns, I mean, there's enough there, I think, with the right plan in place to be respectable. And I'm going to stop at respectable, just because I've said for years, people are unrealistic about offensive line play at South Carolina and throughout the SEC, just because of what I mentioned. You're facing the best defensive lines in the country every week. So you're going to get stuffed on 4th and 1 at times. You're going to have a big sack at times. That's just life in this league, but it should not be as it is right now. And they're going to have to fix it with guys on campus. And, hey, if they get, I don't want to say lucky, but if they get a couple of guys in the portal that can help, great. But this is not, you mentioned 3 or 4. I can't see that happening and that be any sort of fix. I think that, when you look at the portal, I think they have a chance to do some good things at wide receiver to help them there, and maybe tight end, maybe even running back if they don't get a freshman or if somebody leaves. But I think that those thinking that they can solve the O-line issues by hitting the portal, maybe need to look into it a little more.
What do you think happens here the next 2 games, and then with Marcus Satterfield? Because I know I know you don't have a crystal ball, but in your best guess, what happens the next 2 games with the offense, and then what happens with Shane Beamer and Marcus Satterfield afterwards?
Well, I think and look, I'm not going to get here the Friday before the Auburn game and say fire them all. It's just not my style, especially here on the flagship. But I think it's got to get fixed one way or the other, and I think that the Missouri game was disappointing in the sense that what I've been told have been the issues, and what I could see are the issues, and it's not like I'm just looking there going, I'm a great football expert and here's what's wrong. I mean, that's not how I roll. But what I've been told and stuff is that the issues that were seemingly fixed against Florida reared their ugly head again, and I think they're systemic in a lot of ways. And I think that you got to fix it if you're Shane Beamer. Now, a lot of people are coming down on Shane Beamer, and that's I get it, but he's a head coach. He's not the first head coach that has to fix something, especially after his first year. If you look around the country, even the great ones have to make changes from time to time. I mean, everybody from Nick Saban to Gary Patterson to Dabo Swinney to whoever, name your coach, Ryan Day, they all tweak their coordinator spots a lot and try to get help here and there. Steve Spurrier did it here. Will Muschamp did it here. Lou Holtz did it here. I mean, it's not something that you go, oh my God, first year head coach, he has to maybe make a change at a coordinator position. My God, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's not true. Especially when you look at like the other coaches he's hired and his track record in general of hiring coaches. But, so I think this is it's unfortunate because I think the Gamecocks could probably have a much better record than we expected. But still 5-5 isn't bad, but it's not the first time a coach has had to fix something. You know what I'm saying? And he deserves the space and I think the opportunity to go fix it how he sees fit. And then, you deal, the consequences of that will not even be known for a year or two.
He is J.C. Sherbert. You can make sure you check out his work on thebigspur.com. About a minute left here. Just tomorrow night. Who has to play the better game? The defensive line stopping Tank Bigsby, or ideally you want both, but if you got to pick one, the defensive line stopping Tank Bigsby or the offensive line keeping Jason Brown clean?
I think it's offensive line because I think that, as Mississippi State showed last week, Auburn's defense is good. They're not great, and they can get on their heels and you can move the football. I would say beyond keeping Jason Brown clean, if they can find a way to establish the run, that would be awfully helpful. I mean, you look at Tank Bigsby's numbers, he's only had one game over 100 yards this year, I think in the SEC. Maybe he had 2, but it was 160 at Ole Miss. I mean, last week, 17 carries, 41 yards. You do have to keep him in check. Don't get me wrong. You can't let him just run wild, but I think offensively, it could get ugly if the Gamecocks are getting pulverized up front on offense and not able to run it or throw it, turn it over, that kind of thing.
Good luck with Ghostbusters. We got a couple people weighing in on the live stream. One I forget. I was trying to go back through. One person said without Ernie Hudson and Bill Murray, RL.
Wow.
Yeah, just Murray.
Bill Murray was teased in the trailer.
Oh, is he teased in it?
Because they call the old Ghostbusters number in the trailer.
No, Murray makes it. Harold Ramis is dead.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's the whole premise of it because it's about Egon's grandkids. So, but Murray, I don't know that Ernie Hudson's in it, but I think Murray and Aykroyd make a little appearance. So that'd be good. Bill Murray.
Follow him.
He's
Go ahead. I was
The
going to say
big
I was going to
Charles
say to
River
follow
Hog
you on
thing.
Twitter tonight for a review. We want a good review. You going tonight or tomorrow? You going tonight?
Going tonight, brother. Going tonight. They got a nice movie theater that serves food, and you get a little, sit there. You can have a cocktail if you want. I don't have cocktails unless I see movies, so I like to pay attention. But I'll get me an iced tea and a burger and gorge myself and watch some Ghostbusters.
Enjoy that. Enjoy your football weekend. We'll catch up. We'll catch up in about 2 weeks. We'll get a Ghostbusters review, and we'll get final thoughts on the football season after the Clemson game.
Hey, that sounds good, boys. Y'all take care down there and hold down the fort.
We'll do our best, buddy. JC Sherbert with thebigspur.com joining us this morning. We'll talk about what he had to say. Chris Deering coming up in about 20 minutes as well. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
More of The Early Game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, big weekend. Ghostbusters, be able to check that out. Maybe some Carolina football. You got basketball going on. You definitely also want to get a great night of sleep. Want to get rested up. Next week's a big week. Thanksgiving. You better be rested, refreshed, ready to go. And with a Sleep Number bed, that's exactly what you'll be. I put the Sleep Number setting on 45, and I am ready already for Thanksgiving. Proven quality sleep is indeed life-changing sleep. And during the Sleep Number Black Friday weekend sale, you can save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus free premium delivery when you add a base. But this deal ends next Monday, November 22nd. So don't miss your opportunity to make the switch. Go to a Sleep Number store today. I'm telling you to do it right now. I'm being a little bossy with you. I'm telling you to go to one of the two Sleep Number stores, one in Irma on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings, the other in Columbia, Two Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Right now, Sleep Number's Black Friday weekend sale. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus free premium delivery when you add a base. The deal ends Monday, so make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's like, okay, good luck with that. Well, and very similar. No wonder he and Bill work together because usually Bill's answers to a question are about 7 minutes. So it works well.
I don't know, Al. It's just so blurred now what the pro style offense means. I mean, at LSU had the greatest offense in college football history 2 years ago with a pro style offense. Alabama runs variations of the pro style offense, and now pros are using college style offenses. I think the delineation is just not really there anymore. It's just Yeah, we need that. It'd be so helpful. Yeah. See how many spots are left. Yeah. I'm just reading this whole thread about how Chrissy Teigen and John Legend threw a Squid Game themed party, and people are very upset. The Squid Game themed party, yeah, because like it's super lavish. Like spent thousands on the party, and like the whole theme of the show was that people hate her. Yeah, yeah. And like kind of like the overlying theme of Squid Game was about like rich people and like the danger or the violence and whatnot of the rich class. It's just like you totally miss the point of the show by you people like you are the problem. Yeah. Yeah, so we're done. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Trey asked earlier. I don't know where I'm sitting, by the way, Trey. If you're still watching, I haven't found that out yet. Yeah, the best. I was that was something else I was laughing my dad. I was like, look at the sweet bid thing. You can get a Traeger grill for like $400 off.
The
Do
Traeger
it.
grill.
Just going straight into the last minute end hour bump.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Or I just thought it was funny. I like seeing people pile on.
Yep, 1 minute.
Big thank you. Big thank you to JC Sherbert for joining us. Anything you've missed? Interviews this week, whether it's Brian Matthews with auburnsports.com, whether it was just JC Sherbert, if you're just tuning in and you missed that segment, you can always go to the 1075thegame.com webpage, click on the podcast tab at the top, and you can listen to anything you've missed. Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider yesterday. Jen has done a great job. She gets those up. Patrick's done it as well. They get those interviews up so you can go back and listen, not just to our show, but to any of the interviews that are here on 1075 The Game. Go to our webpage, 1075thegame.com. Click on the podcast tab at the top. Coming up next, Chris Deering will join us. Patrick and I have got to make picks. I'm way behind, heading for a very spicy pizza at Village Idiot if I don't pick it up.
On a sandbag.
We'll do hour 3 when we return. You're listening to the early game, 1075 The Game. It's 2 hours of radio. 2 hours of radio. I gotta go get a new tire. My back left tire has like a nail in it. It's like leaking air. So you fill it up, and then within 3 days it's back down to. And here's what's crazy: the sensor is off. So like ever since I came back from Vegas, it told me my right front tire was low. Well, I kept looking at my right front tire. I was like, something, the sensor I didn't drive it for like 3 days. Something must be wrong. So one day I went to go get my car and I looked at my back left, my driver's side left. And I was like, dude, that looks really low. So I went up and put air, and sure enough, it was that one.
It just didn't.
The sensor is off. All right, let me get up here and see. It's South Carolina High School. Good Lord. You go to the high school website, and the first thing that pops up is a bunch of competitive. Those are elbows. Boy, I am probably should stop talking. What? Come here, I'll show you. This, I kind of couldn't. I wasn't really paying attention, and it's this little picture right here. See if it'll pop back up. But it's that, and it came up, and it comes up right there, and I thought it was like their leg, their thigh and their knee bent.
That's what I thought.
And
it's the arms.
and then as I look down here, I could see it better. And I was like, oh, see, there it is. Like that came up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And I was like, really? That's what you put on the front page? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. Well, let's see.
Now I'm reading about Christopher Nolan's new movie, Oppenheimer. Pumped about that.
Wow, Irmo's 4A? Not 5A? What happened? How is Irmo not 5A? Ridgeview upset Hillcrest last week. Wait, why does Dutch Fork have to go to Sumter?
Yeah, the Blackstone. My parents have a Blackstone. It's pretty sweet.
You talking about the griddle?
Yeah,
They got a big
they're
one.
talking about the live stream. The big one, yeah. But they don't have a grill anymore. So I think now that they're about to be on the lake and he works from home, I think he's gonna start getting into the smoking game and maybe potentially start learning how to do that. Is the Traeger just a regular grill? It's a pellet grill or like?
Yeah, well,
but
no,
just
I
a
don't
regular.
think it's a regular grill, but I think it's a.
Yeah, I know he's looking into all sorts of stuff because they don't have a grill currently. He got rid of his last grill and just been going Blackstone for everything.
I told my dad I'd get him one of those portable, like Blackstone ones. You know, the little ones.
Yeah.
You could take around because I don't know if he needs a. He's got a big grill, but.
You can smoke on the Traeger. Okay, there we go. That's why.
You can what now?
You can smoke on the Traeger. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I was just reading an article, RL, about how Christopher Nolan's like one of the last people that's allowed to make movies like he's making $100 million Oppenheimer movie about World War II and the creation of the atomic bomb. But basically, unless you're making a Marvel movie or something with a already big backing, it's hard to make money and studios will not let you make the movies. And in the article they referenced there's movies coming out based off the card game Uno. There's a movie based off the game Uno, and there's a Flaming Hot Cheetos movie. But people won't take shots on original ideas unless the filmmaker is already a monster name. Christopher Nolan is a monster name, so the movie industry is going to, you know what?
You talking movies?
Yeah, I'm talking movies.
Make sure you text me because, or I don't know who. I don't have anything yet.
I didn't get it.
I mean,
I didn't get it.
I haven't gotten it. So I don't think my dad needs a whole. I don't think he needs the big one. I might go get him that one, the 100 Blackstone, $149. Oh,
there we go.
Nope, send it to another group. They were fascinated, I'm sure. Tommy Moody's in that group. He'll understand.
Right? Okay, Travis, I'm with you. The Traeger pellet grill, spot on, man. Best investment.
Where the bacon is always prepared properly.
My grand slam was supposed to be with sausage.
On 107.5, The Game.
Hour number 3. I feel like it's already Thanksgiving. I mean, I'm one of those people. I celebrate. I come from a family who basically would celebrate just about anything. And we get even close to Thanksgiving. This really is my favorite time of the year, Patrick. You got college football going on, which I love. You got the NFL going on, which I'm okay with. I'm not a huge NFL fan. I watch it and keep up to date with it. But college basketball has tipped off yesterday. I don't know the exact name of it, to be honest. It's the Charleston. It used to be the Charleston Classic. I think it might be the Shriners. They had it on the court last night. I was watching Clemson and Temple play prior to South Carolina. When I was downtown, I went over to Hickory Tavern for a little while and hung out there and met some people and was watching Clemson and Temple. But college basketball is going on. We are about to enter Feast Week, which is delicious. Also, there's basketball and football on ESPN. So it's a great time of the year. It's also a great time of the year for high school sports. High school basketball about to tip off this coming Monday, as Alan tells us on the Buford Lending live stream. There is high school basketball just around the corner. But first, we've got to wrap up the high school football season, and there is just 2 weekends left before state championship weekend. And we welcome in, as we do each and every Friday at this time, our good buddy Chris Deering. You can follow him on Twitter at cdeering82 is the way to go about doing that. And Chris, welcome in. Let's just start with, where are you going tonight? Where is the game that you will be attending?
Like I said, but when the brackets came out a few weeks ago, that there was a couple games I was hoping we would get a chance to see, and tonight is one of those in Abbeville and Gray Collegiate. It's what everybody's been talking about since really August, that these two teams were probably on a collision course, and they've held true. And this tonight should be an absolutely fantastic game. The last 2 years, Abbeville is not Gray Collegiate out of the playoffs, so I know they got a little chip on their shoulder going to play Abbeville once again, and so that should be an entertaining game from start to finish tonight.
Gray Collegiate has won their first 2 playoff games 56-0 and 58-0. Abbeville has won 41-0 and 49-34. What is the over-under on this game? Like 83?
I do think there will be some points scored tonight. Even though both defenses are pretty good, I know Abbeville gave up some last week.
but I do think there'll be some points. Probably, if I had to go over under, I'd go about 68, 70, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think the winning team's got to score about 35.
That game is here in town at Gray Collegiate tonight. Abbeville and Gray Collegiate, you're right, should be a really, really fun one over there. Follow Chris Deering on Twitter at CDeering82 for updates if you can't make it out to that one. Another in-town game tonight, the number 1 seed Brooklyn Casey Bearcats hosting Camden. And your thoughts on Brooklyn Casey as they look to continue marching toward a state championship?
Well, this is another rematch from last year's playoffs where Camden knocked out Brooklyn Casey. I think maybe in the second round. It was a high-scoring affair last year. But I think this year you might see a little different ball game. Both of these defenses have played really, really well. I will say now, against some of the better teams, they have given up some points. Camden struggled a little bit against a spread-type offense that they'll see from Brooklyn Casey tonight. And Brooklyn Casey, when they played Gilbert, they gave up some points. But I think both of these defenses are really good. That defensive line at Camden is maybe one of the best in the state, if not the best. They got a sophomore on there, Xavier McLeod. He's being recruited by everybody. So this could be a tough test for BC. But this time, last year they had to go over to the Zep Stadium in Camden to play, so they get a home game tonight. And I do think BC's got a chance. They had some injuries, but they've overcome those, and they're playing really well right now. And I never count out Rusty Sharpie in a big game. He's done it a number of times over at BC. He just needs to get over that hump and try to get to a state championship game.
Other 3A games tonight. Chester travels to Powdersville. Daniel hosts we do this every week. Clinton, depending on where you're from. And then one other game just to ask you about. It's not a local game. Oceanside Collegiate knocks off Gilbert, who, by the way, Chris, I don't know if you heard the opening segment. Poor Gilbert. What did Gilbert do to Gamecock Larry? Like, Patrick, did you?
I missed that.
Huh?
I missed that. Is he not a Gilbert fan?
I don't know if it's his buddy Root Hog just pushed Gilbert on him too much. Like, I mean, you heard it. He said Oceanside Collegiate packed up Gilbert and shipped him off into the ocean. I mean, he's completely. I think he dislikes Clemson, and then I think it's Georgia, and then for some reason Gilbert right behind him.
Well, so he is a Brooklyn Casey fan, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he is.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
Well, I
think
didn't
he
know
is
if he.
too.
Well, is he a Brooklyn Casey fan, or did he just jump on the bandwagon because he was tormented by Root Hog, before the BC Gilbert game, and he just jumped on the BC bandwagon.
I think from just listening in the past years, I think he's a Brooklyn Casey fan. So he always asks about Brooklyn Casey. So he calls into the scoreboard show at night and asks about Brooklyn Casey. So
Okay.
I'm pretty certain he is maybe a Brooklyn Casey alum. I'm not sure.
I got you. A quick
That
note.
might be where the Gilbert comes from.
That could be. Yeah, well, it makes sense. Quick note here. Kevin Heisey, thank you. He sends in Gray versus Abbeville tonight, 7:30. It'll be played at Fairfield Central High School. So
Correct.
Fairfield Central is where that game will take place. Thank you, Kevin, for the update. So if you want to get out to that one, again, back to that game real quick, because you're right. That should be a lot of fun. Gray and in Abbeville tonight. We've talked about KZ Adams and, should he be recruited by South Carolina? Should he be recruited higher? He's going to Georgia State, and Sean Elliott, who had the big win over Coastal last weekend. How big of a role does he play tonight in that game there? Is he the guy that determines the outcome of that game?
I would probably say yes. He's got to touch it at least 30 times. And, that's asking a lot of a kid that never comes off the field. He plays defense as well. But he's probably going to have to touch it 30 to 35 times tonight. I do think Gray might play two quarterbacks tonight. Trey Robinson and the Staten kid, Riley Staten, are probably both going to play tonight. One of those two is going to have to probably open up the passing game. And Robinson's a little bit better runner than Staten. Maybe he can, open up the run game for KZ, but it's going to be tough going for KZ, but I think they could just keep giving it to him. And I think he's going to break a couple more than likely. I mean, he's done it every year, every night, every Friday night this year. So I don't see him not getting his yards. It's probably what everybody else does to determine the eventual winner, but KZ's got to have his normal 200 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns for Gray to have a chance.
4A tonight, Greenville will host Irmo, South Point traveling to Greenwood, Myrtle Beach hosting Buford, and West Florence traveling to Hartsville. Irmo, the upset last week. Irmo's now gone on the road, Chris. They've knocked off York, and then last week, do it again at Westside. The game you were at, a thriller. Greenville knocks off AC Florida 27-26. Real quick, Pro Franklin, quarterback for Greenville. You got a chance to watch him last night. What was your take on him? He's a guy who's been to a lot of South Carolina games, and some rumblings maybe he'll end up at South Carolina next year. What was your take on is it Prometheus Franklin? Pro Franklin?
Prometheus Franklin, yeah. I'll tell you what, watching him in pregame, I was a little hesitant to really think he was what everybody was talking about. But once the game started, I understood exactly what everybody was talking about. He extended plays. He made plays with his arm. He don't like to run it that much, so he's a pocket passer. But he was able to extend plays, and that game-winning drive against AC Florida last week, he made 2 really big plays to get them down in the scoring position. And then I've talked to a number of coaches, and I think they saw my Twitter video of the final touchdown. He had a guy coming right at him up the middle. He stepped to his right, stepped to his left, threw the ball back to his right into a small window for the game-winning touchdown. And that's a college play. That's a pro play. You don't see that many high school kids that can do that. So he's really good. I did talk to him after the game. You know, he's hoping for a South Carolina offer. He's got some other offers out there. Even if it's a preferred walk-on situation, I think he might come to South Carolina. He had on South Carolina wristbands last week. Excuse me. And I think he just really likes South Carolina. I hope they give him a chance to play here. I told somebody this week, I don't think he's come in and challenge for a starting job next year, but he's a kid that could definitely develop it and be a 2 or 3 year starter here.
He's Chris Deering joining us this morning. You can follow him this evening. He will be at Gray Collegiate and Abbeville. That game played at Fairfield Central tonight, 7:30. You can follow him on Twitter for updates there. Interesting. I wish we had more time. We might, in the next few weeks, we're a little up against it. I'd like to get more on that Pro Franklin thing, because Patrick and I, Chris, and you follow South Carolina, we've talked about building depth in that quarterback room and how he could come in, and what you just said about pushing guys and maybe being a guy that certainly creates some competition. But let's continue on real quick. Greenville, Irmo tonight. Again, Irmo, back-to-back road upsets there over York and Westside. They got to go do it at Greenville tonight. A little bit too much of a task, or is this something Irmo can go out and maybe get upset number 3?
I think they have a chance. I definitely think they have a chance. They beat AC Florida just like Greenville did. You always got to worry about a team like Greenville. Do they think they won it all last week by beating Florida? They were the defending champ, and so maybe you have a little letdown the following week. But talking to Coach Porter after the game, he's excited that if Greenville wins tonight, it'll be the deepest run ever in the playoffs for that program. So they got a home game. They didn't really expect to get a home game at this point. They thought they'd be on the road if they won. So it's a big night up there, and everyone's going to have to play. I mean, they have to probably have one of their better games of the season to win that game, obviously.
5A tonight, Ridgeview traveling to Spartanburg, Gaffney traveling to Northwestern. That'll be a fun upstate game. Dutch Fork, I didn't understand this. Why is Dutch Fork going to Sumter, Chris?
It's predetermined, especially if the teams play each other last year in the playoffs. The team that had the home game last year's got to go on the road this year. So that's sort of what that situation was. They're both number 1 seeds. Tom Knotts don't mind going on the road. He'll play anywhere.
No, 56-0 over Socastee, 56-0 over Cane Bay last week. Sumter up this week. Lexington travels to Fort Dorchester. Of those 4 games, Ridgeview, Spartanburg, Gaffney, Northwestern, Dutch Fork, Sumter, Lexington, Fort Dorchester. Just quickly, your thoughts on at least 3 of them. Dutch Fork, Sumter, we don't need to cover too much, but the other 3 and your thoughts on how it could shake out this weekend.
Lexington's obviously got to go down and play a really good Fort Dorchester team. They got a great quarterback. He's getting a lot of looks from people as well. He's a junior. But Lexington's done it with defense all year, and if they're going to win tonight, they're going to have to do it again with defense. They run the football, they control the clock, and if they can go down there and do that tonight, I think they got a chance. I think the best game in 4A is probably that Northwestern Gaffney game. I almost think the winner of that is going to be in the state championship. That's two great programs, two great teams this year. Northwestern is coached by a Wofford guy who's his dad was actually one of my high school coaches. So got a little rooting interest there for Northwestern. But that should be a great game. And then Ridgeview, who we thought was a top 5 team in the preseason, looks like they finally put it all together here in the playoffs. And I think they go up to Spartanburg and win and maybe get a rematch with Northwestern or play Gaffney next week.
He is Chris Deering. Follow him tonight. He will be at Abbeville versus Gray Collegiate. Again, one of the better games that you can check out throughout the state. That game will be played 7:30 at Fairfield Central, so you can get out. If you can't go to it, follow him on Twitter. At CDeering82 is the way to do that. Chris, good luck tonight. Enjoy your weekend, and we will catch up with you next Friday to talk about your Thanksgiving, how your Thanksgiving went, and some high school playoffs.
Sounds perfect, Bill. Y'all guys have a great weekend.
You too. Chris Deering does a fantastic job for the Prep Red Zone Network. If you aren't already, make sure you follow him on Twitter at CDeering82. One note. Gamecock Larry has filled us in, Patrick. Gamecock Larry played football for Brooklyn KC in 1948. He was so good he only played 1 year.
I thought he played on Four Hole Swamp High School.
Played for both. He was so good he played one game and then just traveled over to the next one and played the other game. But that's why he played running back. Although Gamecock Larry, very modest, says he didn't play very much. But that's probably because you didn't want to unleash Gamecock Larry on all the other kids.
I thought maybe it was something similar to your basketball career.
Yeah.
In high school, your basketball career was a little limited. So maybe that's kind of like what his
short. They just called my basketball career short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
Gamecock
enough.
Larry, they did not say that. He was too good. He played in 1948, just 1 year, and
he was a beast.
He is not a Gilbert fan because of Root Hog. Way to go, Root Hog. You've turned Gamecock Larry completely against Gilbert. 803-404-6100. Patrick and I have to make picks on games. We'll do that when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
This is South Carolina head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley, and you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT FM.
Oh, it's that kind of year or that kind of month or just that kind of day where you wake up and it's 40 degrees. It was 8 this morning is what Siri told me, I believe, when I got up and was trying to figure out how to get dressed. I believe this afternoon it'll be in the 70s. Welcome to South Carolina, everybody, where your heating and air unit better work 365 days a year. And if you got any questions about it, now's the time to call AAA Heating and Air. 803-677-1500 is how you can get in touch with them today. All it takes is $59 to get your heating and air unit inspected. And living in South Carolina, that unit better be working very well, and you better have confidence in it. Otherwise, you could be in for a big surprise one morning or one evening. Don't let that happen to you. Call the experts at AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Again, they'll come out and do an inspection for $59. And if there's an issue, you know what? They're going to make sure you're taken care of. The first thing they do is offer you a $1,500 rebate to buy back your old unit. Then, for those who qualify, no money down, 0% financing on a brand new unit. And again, I say it each and every morning when I talk about them because I really do believe when Roy and Dana Finley say they're going to treat me like a family member, when they back it up by saying we're going to offer you a 15-year parts and labor warranty, that means something to me. And that is why it is the most important aspect of what AAA Heating and Air does for me and my family is being there at all times. And that 15-year parts and labor warranty makes me feel comfortable knowing if something else happens after I got the new unit, that they will be there to make sure it's fixed. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner told you to call. My Twitter, what's happening. I don't know if it's because what's happening tells me the 76ers at Nuggets last night. I'm not sure that I really need to know about that. It tells me there's pictures of Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson's romance is officially on. It tells me trending in the United States is #FridayKiss. And newspaper. Why do humans keep trying and failing at monogamy? What am I searching on Twitter? What is up with that?
No, I'm getting most of the same things.
Okay, so good. Not just me. Yep, there you go, Troy. That's the high today is just 60. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's gotten cooler
Is it cooler today?
this morning instead of getting warmer.
Hope's just being negative again. She's just being negative. It might get into the 70s. We don't know. We don't know. It could. Hope's just. Yeah, well, we talked about it. We talked about Dutch Fork and Sumter because Dutch Fork. I was asking why Dutch Fork is why Dutch Fork had to go to Sumter. Yeah, you're being negative about it not even being 70 today, even though my weather app tells me it's actually not even gonna. Actually, no, you're not stating a fact. It's not even going to get into the 60s today. It says the high of 59. It does say actually, it says 61, but I don't know where it's going to be 61. My hourly weather app tells me 50, the high of, it's only going to get to 59 today. So, yes, the stupid weather app. It's from the Weather Channel, and it's what Siri tells me as well. How do you get your weather? Will you just walk outside? Can't do that in the morning. Yeah, Craig, we were discussing that.
And then Corley going into the next break.
Eight 803-404-6100, how you can join us this morning if you'd like. Cutting up on the Buford Lending live stream with several people, Craig, Troy, and should we just start calling her Negative Hope?
It fits.
No.
If the shoe fits.
I mean, she's being negative about the weather today. She's saying that it was only going to get up to 60s, into the 60s today, and then she made fun of me.
I like her already.
For checking the weather app and making fun of my weather app that I use on my cell phone. That is, I tell you what, you got to come join us on the Buford Lending live stream. Hope is the mama bear of the family. She says she's not going to promote the channel anymore if I keep it up. No, we need Hope. She's a big part of it. You can come join the Buford Lending live stream as well. Go to the youtube.com page, search 1075thegame.com. We ask that you subscribe. You can also check us out on Facebook, Buford Lending, the official sponsor. Right now, you can call Benji Getsy, 843-524-2404. Let Benji and Buford Lending earn your business today. Don't call Wall Street. The rates are better on Bay Street. Give Benji and his team a chance to earn your business. The refinancing opportunities are saving clients an average of $300 to $500 per month. And if you've recently purchased your home in the last 3 to 4 years and you have PMI, now is the time to refinance and take advantage of your increased equity and the record rates. Don't miss a golden opportunity right now with Buford Lending and Benji Getsy, 843-524-2404. Again, cash out refinancing continues to dominate the refinancing market. Consumers are taking advantage of increasing property values. You could be one of those people. Give Buford Lending a call today. Let them do a free evaluation. 843-524-2404. That is how you can get in touch with Benji Getsy and Buford Lending. And again, thank you to Buford Lending for sponsoring the live stream, or as Chad says, let's be real. Hope is the best member of the early game crew. I agree with that. Patrick, as it stands now, it's not going well for me in our pick'em contest. After last week we both took South Carolina to beat Missouri. We were wrong. We failed. We both took Baylor to cover 5.5 against Oklahoma. We were correct. We picked that one correctly. You took Mississippi to beat Texas A&M. I missed that one. You took Georgia to cover the spread against Tennessee plus 20.5. I took Tennessee. I missed that one. And we both took Michigan minus 1.5. I also had a lock of the week of Miami 2.5, minus 2.5 against Florida State. I did not win that one. You had the under 48.5 Michigan Penn State. You hit that one. In other words, you're up really big, 22-14 in our picks points contest, to which we will end up at Village Idiot here, probably December 5th, where our buddy Brian Glenn is going to fix a very spicy pizza that I have to eat one slice right now is what it looks like without a miraculous comeback, without water.
One slice without water.
One
You have
slice.
to put down a second slice.
Plan to do that is December 5th prior to the South Carolina Georgetown game that day. We'll keep you updated. You can come join us December 5th, that particular day. By the way, reminder, next Tuesday, you can join Patrick and I at Bojangles. We'll be there from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can get out and come hang out with us, get some good biscuits, and enjoy a fun time there. Again, that'll be next Tuesday at Bojangles. Patrick, we'll get out there and cut up. I think you're talking about how many bow rounds you can eat. You want to try the bow. You're going to campaign to bring back the potato bowl.
Yeah, I do believe that they have all the ingredients though, so they could
just make them fix it.
Yeah,
just make them fix it. So coming up in the next segment, we're going to make our picks here. For that is, again, our pick'em contest. Patrick just absolutely dominating. He dominates the way that I dominate the NASCAR picks. So we will do that here coming up in the next segment.
But the thing is, Patrick at least knows what he's talking about. With you, it's sheer luck on the NASCAR because you don't have a clue. So I have much more respect for Patrick winning because his picks are made with knowledge and expertise. Whereas you just go to the bookie sites and hope for the best.
Hey, as part of being a loser in the NASCAR pick segment, part of your responsibility is to get my clothes from the dry cleaner. So you're leaving here in 10 minutes?
Well, I've got a clown car, so they'll fit.
Yeah. Okay. 803-404-6100 if you want to be a Weisenheimer too, like Jen Jensen in there. 803-404-6100. We will make some picks when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Oh, Jen, you can just go jump in a pool. It's cold. But good news, I'd let you jump in a clean pool. Like after Tracy Corley and his team have cleaned it, it would still be cold. But you know what? With Tracy Corley and his team, you would feel comfortable jumping into a clean pool. That's how great they do. You can get them a phone call yourself and find out. 803-445-8109. You might not be jumping into a pool right now, but you might be using it for your backyard like setup, your ambiance. Maybe next week you're having the family over for Thanksgiving. You want to make sure that pool is still clean and maintained. I'm looking at the CorleyPoolSolutions.com website. There's a beautiful picture of a pool with some fountains in it, a nice setup. It would be a great place to have a Thanksgiving setup where you had the family over, you're deep frying the turkey. Maybe you got a fire pit, and you know what? If you got a clean pool, that looks great. If it's murky, if it's green, if there's mosquitoes in it and they're biting people, not so much fun. Call Corley Pool Solutions today and keep that pool maintained throughout the winter. 803-445-8109. Tracy Corley and his team have 20 years of experience in the pool maintaining business. They know exactly what they're doing. Here's the best part. He comes to your pool and does what needs to be done. You don't go to the pool store and try and get suggestion from the person standing behind the counter who's never seen what your pool looks like. Tracy comes to your house, makes sure he knows how many chemicals or what type of chemicals have got to go into the pool. That's what makes him the best in the business. And again, even during the off season, you want to continue to maintain that pool so that it will be more affordable come the spring, the summer, when you're ready to start using it again. 803-445-8109. Flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Again, I know it's the off season. I know that Jen Jensen's not out there jumping in the pool right now, but you want to be using it Maybe if you got a fire pit out back, if you're going to have a big Thanksgiving. So call Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions, 803-445-8109.
Yeah, NASCAR is over. Kudos to Bill on the segue, no question. I give him props for that. Whenever it's convenient for Patrick.
I went to start doing the picks. I looked at the clock.
I wonder if you better for him.
28. I was like, let me go. How long's the last break?
Let's look. Yeah, I didn't really, like I said, usually like comb through the whole show and catch everything. 31, 2, 3. Like 4 minutes.
Okay.
So it's definitely better.
So I need to be out. What time do you need to get out? If I break at like 8:46 and they'll pull a switch in, or is that too late?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll work.
What time will be back here in a second?
We have minute and a half. So
That's me at 8:36. Like 8:36. So we're out by 8:40. That's 10 minutes. 4 minute break. Okay, that's okay for you. That'll give you time.
Yeah, 8:46. Mm-hmm. Yep, that'll work. Ooh.
I saw some of the Bobo tweets. Saw people. NASCAR is over.
We have a
And
report
yes,
of an accident
again, is
I-26
hurtful and
westbound
mean.
at
I agree with that.
I-20. Also, Highway 602 at South Lake Drive.
Thank you, Chuck, for listening and having friends on here. Ready?
Hold on a second.
This afternoon, go join Heath Klein Savage Craft Ale Works over in West Columbia, 4 to 7 p.m. There will be free appetizers, 4 to 5 p.m., 430 Center Street. You can register to win a $250 gift card to Gamecock Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary, must be 18 or over. See site for details, void where prohibited. That is today. You can go see Heath Klein at Savage Craft Ale Works. And then Monday, we don't feel like you have enough Heath Klein in your life. The game is gearing up to show our school spirit leading up to South Carolina versus Clemson. So Heath will broadcast live on Monday. How about this? Not just at Savage Craft Ale Works today, but on Monday, Heath will be at Hall's Chop House, located at 1221 Main Street in Columbia from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We will be collecting non-perishable food items for Harvest Hope Food Bank. We want to beat Clemson. We want to beat hunger. It's all brought to you by Sound and Images. So Heath Klein today, 4 to 7 p.m., Savage Craft Ale Works in West Columbia. Monday, Heath Klein. That's right. A lot of Heath Klein out there. Hall's Chop House, 1221 Main Street in Columbia, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Again, please bring some non-perishable food items we are collecting for Harvest Hope Food Bank. We want to beat Clemson. We also want to beat hunger. And again, all this brought to you by Sound and Images. All right, you heard my pity party in the last one about losing the picks contest to Patrick currently. So let's go ahead and make some more picks and see how I do, because I'm just doing phenomenal. Patrick, what do you got?
Do I have to go first on all of them?
Yeah, you got to go first. We've deemed we have some rules here. We are trying to have rules, and we're not going to just let you play defense by picking everybody that I got. So 5 games this week. I'll let you start off. Give me the game.
Chronological order. The first one is the biggest matchup of the weekend. Number 7, Michigan State traveling to Columbus. Number 4, Ohio State, noon on ABC. On paper, looks like it should be a close game. Vegas does not think so at all. Ohio State is a 19.5-point favorite, and I think Ohio State is much better, but I think 19.5 is too much. I think a couple big runs from Kenneth Walker can get it done, and just keep the offense on the field, run some clock, maybe not give Ohio State enough time to completely run up the score. Peyton Thorne's been pretty good. Ohio State's defense is not very good. I think they'll score boatload of points, but I think Michigan State will keep it close enough. So I will take the Spartans.
Ohio State's playing good. They're putting up a lot of points. Michigan State's a little banged up, and I think Ohio State rolls in this one. I think Ohio State senses the chance, the path now. They get Michigan next week. They'll roll this one. I'm going to take Ohio State.
Look ahead spot. They know all they need to do is win. They don't need style points at this point.
They
just
need
need
style
to win.
points. Lots of style points. Let's go Michigan. All right, so you took Michigan State, right?
Yeah, Michigan State.
Good. All right, we're split on that one.
Next is Wake Forest and Clemson. The other noon game that we're going to pick, noon ESPN at Clemson. Clemson favored by 4.5, and I'm just going with the narrative. I think Clemson's going to come in on a little bit of a winning streak. South Carolina is going to have their chance, and 4.5 points. I can see Clemson winning by a touchdown. I'll take Clemson. It's fine.
Okay, I feel like you're doing this on purpose now.
I don't like picking against Clemson anymore.
I
used to like it, but now I don't.
Not just because I need to come back against you in split games. I was going to take Wake Forest anyway. The 4.5. Honestly, if it was 2.5, I might go Clemson because I'd get that 3-point hook there. But I'm going to take the hook on it. I think Wake Forest will put up points. Clemson, Justin Ross is out. Sam Hartman's playing really well. Clemson's defense has been willing to give up points at times. Wake Forest outscores Clemson, and I'm going to take Wake Forest outright in that game to get the job done.
All right, next, the CBS game. Not a ton of great SEC matchups, but this is as good as it's going to get. Number 21, Arkansas traveling to number 2, Alabama. 3:30 CBS, Bama 20.5. And because it's under 21, that's another key number. I will take Bama to win big.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. If it was 21.5, I might lean toward Arkansas, but Alabama's going to be too much. Arkansas is on a little bit of a late season swoon there. They were a neat story early on, but that Texas win doesn't look as great now. We know they beat at that time a bad Texas A&M team. Texas A&M turned it around. The win looks great now. At the time, it didn't. But Alabama's a lot better, and much like Ohio State, I think Alabama's kicking it into gear here late in the season. I don't think it's a look-ahead spot toward Auburn. By the way, if Alabama wins, I think they clinch. The division there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So also that in mind,
So
Nick
Iron
Saban will have
Bowl
a focus.
will not matter,
So so I'm with you. We both go Alabama.
All right, so another game with playoff implications. Pac-12, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Oregon traveling to Utah and is an underdog. Utah is favored by 3.5 points, and that is the reason that I will be taking Oregon, because I would have thought that it would be a letdown spot or a trap game or whatever you want to call it. But the fact that Oregon's an underdog, they're going to go in there motivated. They're super talented. I don't think they're that great of a team, but on defense, they're crazy talented with Penei Sewell's little brother. Kayvon Thibodeau could be the number 1 pick. Justin Flo's an awesome linebacker. I think that it will be a relatively low-scoring affair. Both defenses are good, but Oregon will, I think, win the game. If not, they won't lose by more than a field goal.
I feel like we are due for one more big shakeup in the college football playoff, and I think it comes this weekend when Oregon loses outright to to Utah. Utah's favored, as you mentioned, by 3.5. But look, Utah's 7-3 on the season. They lost 2 of those very, very early. They lost on the road at BYU. They lost on the road the following week against San Diego State, and they lost kind of a weird one against Oregon State on the road. They haven't lost at home this year, and they've been winning games at home by comfortable margins. One of those was Weber State, so I know you throw that one out. But a 20-point win against UCLA, 14-point win against a ranked Arizona State team, and then Washington State was the other one, a double-digit win there. Oregon is running the ball really, really well. Utah will stop the run. They'll wear those black uniforms with the red helmets that they tend to break out. I don't even wear the black helmets, just go all black in it. And I think that Utah actually pulls the upset here. I think they win this one kind of convincingly, too, and knock Oregon completely out of the college football playoff.
I think they're going to play again, and I think Oregon might lose that other one. But, yeah, okay. Next, do we want to do the lock or USC first?
Let's go to the South Carolina game.
All right. 4.5 or 7.5 is what we're going with for Auburn. More than a touchdown. I don't have a ton of confidence in TJ Finley replicating last year's performance. So I will take South Carolina to cover. I think they'll probably lose by a possession. Maybe they'll have a chance to, at the end of the game, a drive that you can say, okay, this is the game-winning drive, big opportunity, and then they'll spoil it or something along those lines. Auburn's kicker not being there might cost them a couple points. So I think they'll probably still win. They're good enough. But I think South Carolina can keep it close.
South Carolina's played good at home, or better at home than they have on the road. If this one was at Auburn, I would take the points, or I would lay the points with Auburn. I'm with you. I'm also going to play the key number of 7.5 here. If it was 6.5,
I thought it was 6.5.
If it was 6.5, I would probably take Auburn. I think Auburn wins the football game. Tank Bigsby, South Carolina's run defense has not been able to really stop anybody, and I think Mike Bobo will come in. He's going to be familiar with the defensive personnel. I think he'll get it cranked up and get going. I'll go with you on this. I think 7.5. South Carolina loses the ball game but covers the 7.5 number. And I'm with you. I think they get the ball at the end with a chance to go down and win the ball game, or Auburn goes down and wins it at the end. One of two ways that thing works out. But I see it being a late fourth quarter ball game.
All right, lock time. I'm still in between 3 that I like, and I'm currently erasing what I picked. You go first because we're not going to pick the same lock anyway.
I'm gonna go with 8.5 according to Circa Sports. It's a game that Brian Edwards gave to us yesterday, and I do like it. I'm gonna go Missouri plus the 8.5 at home, late afternoon game. It's gonna be cold. I think Florida's just mentally out of it, and Tyler Beatty is running. Florida, we as South Carolina fans, we now know Florida struggles stopping the run. They couldn't stop South Carolina. Missouri could. All right. Tyler Beatty will have a big day for Missouri. I'm with Brian Edwards on this one. I hate to say it. I followed him last week on the Miami pick, and Miami gagged that one away late. But I'll take Missouri plus 8.5 at home, cold weather. I think that Tyler Beatty has a big day, and I kind of agree with Brian Edwards. It wouldn't shock me if Missouri wins this game outright because I just don't think Florida mentally is there.
No, I agree, and that was one of my 3.
Oh, okay.
That was one of my 3. So I'm down to 2. I think what I'm going to go with, the one that I'm not going to go with, I was going to say the Wake Forest Clemson over. I like 56.5, 57.5. Either one. I've seen it both places. But I do think that could potentially contradict me saying that Clemson's going to win because if it gets into a shootout, I think Clemson will lose because I don't think Clemson can score like Wake Forest can. So what I'm going to go with is Michigan minus 14.5. Playing Maryland. I feel like I know Maryland pretty well. They're not a good football team. They lost by 21 to Michigan State, and I think Michigan's better. I think it'll be a good chance for Michigan and Ohio State to both have big-time wins heading into the rivalry next week for all the marbles for the Big Ten. So I'll take Michigan minus 14.5.
There are your picks from us for the week, and we are split on 3 out of the 5 that we picked, so a chance for me to make a small comeback, especially if I can hit the lock of the week. Patrick takes Michigan State. I take Ohio State minus 19.5. Patrick takes Clemson minus 4.5. I take Wake Forest. We're both on Alabama minus the 20.5. We split Oregon and Utah. I take Utah to upset the college football playoff a little bit more and win minus 3.5. Patrick takes Oregon to at least cover, if not win outright. And we both take South Carolina plus the 7.5. Patrick takes Michigan minus 14.5 as his lock versus Maryland this week. I'm in on Missouri plus 8.5 hosting Florida. So there are your picks for the week. Anything you've missed, you can go to the 1075 The Game UNTitledChapter.com webpage. Click on the podcast tab at the top, and you can re-listen to anything from the last few weeks. You can call us winners. You can call us losers. All other kind of names you might want to do. That's perfectly okay with, well, me. I'm okay. I can live with that. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up on 107.5 The Game. I'm in.
You've been in a little bit of pain lately, not been feeling so good, got some inflammation with your tissues, with your joints, maybe some muscles. It's time to call QC Kinetics. That is the phone number you need, the people you need to get you back to living the quality of life you want. 803-281-6860 is how you can get in touch with them this morning. The best part, no steroids, no opioids, just great pain management, regenerative medicine, and a fantastic pain management clinic. Give them a phone call. 803-281-6860 is how you can get in touch with QC Kinetics today. If you've been told surgery is your only option, you're suffering from pain and you've been told surgery is your only option, that is not true at all. Don't let them tell you that. Call QC Kinetics today. 803-281-6860. Go ahead and commit to making 2022 better for you, getting back to the quality of lifestyle, running around with the kids in the yard, jumping in the pool during the summer, all the fun things that you typically do, but you haven't been able to because of issues with muscles, with ligaments, with tissue damage, maybe some inflammation. Don't allow it to hamper you anymore. 803-281-6860. That's QC Kinetics. All right. I think you got us.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. Shepherd'sGlass.com. And we still looking a little bit of a tie-up I-26 westbound at I-20 right there, Malfunction Junction, earning its name. Highway 602 at South Lake Drive in the cleanup stages. And your forecast for today, cool, breezy, 61 for the high, 33 for your overnight low. But a little cooler than we started this morning. It's 48 right now. 107.5 The Game.
Shop on eBay to get more for your dough on stand mixers. Or get more for your buck on tech and gaming gear. Get more and save more on premium brands with eBay's exclusive deals.
Gamecock Nation, this is Wes Mitchell introducing you to Gamecock Central's new free text alert service. Just text USC to 877-GO-COX to get the biggest breaking Gamecock news sent straight to your cell. That's 877-GO.
This month, I'm thankful for Zero Rooms. It's the only company I trust to give my home the best and most effective clean. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $150 when you mention me.
So I don't want to hit end.
Columbia.com.
Yes. Tires are back in stock at Herman Chevrolet. We're ready to kick the inventory shortage to the...
Oh, you can just close it out. Yeah, that works. Oh, I guess.
To do and just pull it off of the NPC site when it uploads.
Yeah.
And then you can share it. But it's uploaded. Trying to upload.
No problem. Yeah, it'll be fun. I will probably try to do that. Where do you guys go?
I usually check stuff out.
Oh, okay. What time do you show up?
Yeah. Probably so. All right.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Camden Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. And now back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Final segment of the program. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in here in the final few minutes. Chuck weighs in on the Buford Lending live stream. He says, here's hoping Carolina pulls another stunner and beats Auburn. Happy Friday and great weekend to everyone. DC weighs in on the Buford Lending live stream. Says he would not be shocked if he says weak Forest lights up Clemson. Lot of games this weekend. We will see how everything shakes out for South Carolina and for Clemson. Certainly should be very entertaining. Patrick, we've made our picks. I think both of us have South Carolina losing the game, but we have South Carolina covering the spread. I've got them losing. I don't know if I've got an official score prediction. South Carolina's offense has been a little bit better. It was, they did put up 28 points last week. There are things that worked. With all that being said, I don't know if they can put up enough tomorrow night against Auburn. I would, and I think Auburn's going to be able to run the ball. I would have Auburn somewhere in the vicinity of about a 4 to 7 point victory, 31-24.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you, and I just think that would also add more intrigue to the Clemson game, potential to break the streak, home night game, and also add bowl eligibility on the line. I just think that would make the Clemson week more fun.
You can continue to vote, and we'll continue to monitor it at _Patrick Perrette is how you can go in and weigh in. Right now, the poll question: what will happen tomorrow night? 38% saying South Carolina will pull the upset, 16% Auburn wins by 1-6, and 45% saying Auburn covers the spread. We'll talk about it on Monday. Patrick, enjoy the game tomorrow night. Try and bring the Gamecocks some luck.
Yeah, I'll see you out there. I don't know. I'll try and keep that magic from a couple weeks ago.
Attaboy. Be on the lookout for Patrick Perrette tomorrow. Tailgate with him. Have a great weekend. Thanksgiving next week. You've been listening to the early game, 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
All right. Happy Friday. Hope, Mark, DC, Troy, Chuck. Y'all all have a great Friday.
Yep.
Great weekend. Hey, Patrick doesn't know where he's sitting, and he doesn't know where he's tailgating. He just knows he's going to the game.
That's all I know.
Yep. All he needs to know. You have to track him down on Twitter tomorrow.
Yep. See you on Monday.